and welcome to the program from the State Assemblies, your window into the workings of Nigeria's state legislatures. On this episode, Akwa Ibom Assembly advances 695 billion naira supplementary budget as lawmakers call for accelerated passage. Delta State Governor submits 2026 to 2028 fiscal strategy paper as Assembly reviews bills. Plus, Kebbi Assembly passes bill to establish Senior Secondary Education Board. Details of this and more stories will be coming your way shortly. I am your host, Amina Said. Thank you for staying with us. In the week under review, the 2025 Supplementary Appropriation Bill of 695 billion naira has scaled through second reading with a call on members to give accelerated hearing. House Leader and member representing Nsitting State Constituency, Otobong Bob, moved a motion for the bill to be considered and was seconded by member representing Ekiti State Constituency, Nsidibe Akata. Nsikak Uko reports.
Chairman House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Ito Ratem, while presenting the report, says the supplementary budget will enhance ongoing projects and programs across critical sectors such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, sports, and other developmental projects.
The supplementary budget of 695 billion, made up of 125 billion, 664 million, 328,180 naira for recurrent services and 569 billion, 335 billion, 671,820 naira for capital expenditure. The revised provision size stands at 1,650 billion, made up of 425 billion, 664 million, 328,180 naira for recurrent services and 1,224 billion, 335 million, 671,820 naira for capital expenditure.
Before the passage of the supplementary budget, the House was dissolved into the Committee of the Whole and Supply to consider the reports. The Speaker of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Udamoto, speak on the supplementary budget.
Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025 be read the third time. Those in favor say aye. Those against the ayes have it. Accordingly, the Akwa Ibom State Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025 is hereby read the third time and passed into law.
Meanwhile, the House has approved the adjustment of the projections in the current 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework currently in operation. The committee's report was presented by the chairman and member representing Ekiti State Constituency, Nsidibe Akata.
The fiscal indicators used in forecasting the approved 2025-2027 have significant changes with positive impact on the state revenue. 2. The approved entered figures for 2025 fiscal year on revenue was 980 billion naira, and that between January and July, the actual collection was 1,115 billion naira on average, and showing surplus performance.
The revised medium-term expenditure framework provision now stands at 1.7 trillion naira as against the approved provision of 980 billion naira.
Thank you, Nsikak. And in Delta State, Governor Sharif has sent a letter to the State House of Assembly containing the Fiscal Strategy Paper FSP 2026 to 2028. Godfrey Nzeku reports that the Chairman House Committee on Rules, Business and Judiciary, Spencer Wofa, also presented the committee's report on the Delta State Anti-Terrorism and Anti-Cultism Amendment Bill 2025, House Bill 38.
The Delta State Fiscal Strategy Paper FSP 2026-2028 serves as the foundation for the formulation of the 2026 fiscal year budget. It comprises 4 key components: the medium-term expenditure framework, the fiscal strategy paper, the economic and fiscal update, and the budget policy statement, which provides a comprehensive framework for budget planning and preparation, incorporating economic and fiscal analysis, assessment of past and current budget performance, and identification of key factors influencing implementation. The Speaker further gave a breakdown of the macroeconomic framework and the indicative 3-year fiscal framework for the period 2026 to 2028.
The 3-year fiscal framework for the period 2026 to 2028. Recurrent revenue. Opening balance is put at 53 billion 150 million naira, while 2026 is put at 30 billion naira, 2027 30 billion, and 2028 30 billion. Statutory allocation stroke net derivation is put at 621 billion 854 million 276,721. That's for 2025. While 2026 is put at 1 trillion 239 billion 231 million 208,777 naira. 2027 is put at 1 trillion 276 billion 408 million 145,042 naira.
Thereafter, the chairman, House Committee on Rules, Business and Judiciary, Spencer Owofa, presented the committee's report on the Delta State Anti-Terrorism and Anti-Cultism Amendment Bill 2025, House Bill 38.
The committee met severally and meticulously examined the bill clause by clause. Mr. Speaker, having carefully and thoroughly considered the bill, the committee is of the view that the bill be amended in the manner stated in the Annex for consideration and passed by this Honorable House.
The House adjourned plenary to Tuesday, October 16, 2025. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Kebbi State House of Assembly has passed a bill for the establishment of the Kebbi State Senior Secondary Education Board. Chairman of the House Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Mohammed Garba Bina, noted that the move is aimed at reviving and strengthening senior secondary education across the state. Correspondent Jafri Suvillu has more.
The Kebbi State House of Assembly has passed executive bill seeking to establish Kebbi State Senior Secondary School Education Board. The bill, which scaled through its past second and third readings at plenary, received approval after careful consideration by the Committee of Whole.
The bill other matters connected there to 2025, thereby believe that it is passed.
Chairman House Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Mohammed Garba Bena, underscored the importance of the bill in revitalizing and strengthening senior secondary education across the state.
Here we are talking about senior secondary school. We get funds from federal government like we do in the primary board. Then, unless there is this law, you cannot get that counterpart fund from the federal government. We also operate alongside with the National Policy on Education, who look different if we are not on board alongside with other states. So the aim is to bring us on board so that we operate along with all other states and national body of the educational sector. We also get whatever we're supposed to get from the national body in terms of funding and what have you.
With the legislature's approval, the bill now awaits the assent of the executive governor before it can be implemented.
Thank you, Jafar. Moving on, the Kaduna State House of Assembly has passed a law to promote religious harmony and understanding among residents of the state. The law establishes a framework for dialogue between religious groups and outlines measures for managing related matters. Correspondent Adam Musandi reports that the lawmakers also passed another law to enhance agricultural development through funding and better access to resources for farmers.
Kaduna State has in the past experienced several religious crises that led to loss of lives and property. To strengthen religious harmony in the state, the lawmakers, after receiving the report of the chairman, Joint Committee on Interfaith and Judiciary, passed a law to promote interfaith relations and establish a framework for peaceful coexistence among residents of different faiths.
A bill for law to establish the Kaduna State Commission for Religious Affairs, Law 2025, be passed into law.
I'm fit, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, to support the motion ably moved by Honorable Jesse of Chuku.
Is thereby passed into law.
The commission is timely. The commission will, streamline and, bring the gap together that is in between the government and religion.
The lawmakers also passed a law that provides for farmers access to funding and promotes productivity through state-supported programs.
They will accommodate almost every organization in the rural areas. They will have their representative there to give their own contribution towards agriculture.
In another development, the chairman, Joint Committee on Education and Judiciary, presented a report on a motion for the regulation of metal waste vendors in Kaduna State to ensure environmental safety, public health, and compliance with waste management standards. The House unanimously adopted the motion.
It's a collective responsibility. For the vendors, I will advise them to change their ways of doing things. They need to have a registered association. They need to have leadership. They need to control others. We are not saying they are all, but among them, there are those that are in the habit of vandalizing the properties belonging to government and private individuals.
Other bills that were read for the second time include a bill to amend the Kaduna State Landlords and Tenant Law, number 18 of 2018, a bill to amend the Kaduna State Urban and Regional Law, number 31 of 2018, and a bill to amend the Tax Codification and Consolidation Law, number 8 of 2020. These bills were referred to the relevant committees for further review and recommendations.
We now take you to Rivers, where the State House of Assembly says it is taking the issue of flooding in Port Harcourt seriously, following the unfortunate death by flood of 2 siblings in the Eligulu area of Port Harcourt. Speaking during plenary, Speaker Martin Amaule charged the House Committee on Urban and Regional Planning and Environment to take the issue up with the relevant ministries for a lasting solution. Nkiru Onijisi completes the report.
The recent floods ravaging the capital city of Port Harcourt is the subject of a motion moved by Honorable Azeru Okbara of Port Harcourt 3 constituency.
Mr. Speaker, it was alarmed that if serious and urgent actions are not taken to avert the increased flash flooding which led to the death of 2 people in Rivers State, more people may die or face serious untold hardship. So, Mr. Speaker, therefore, I respectfully urge this House to resolve as follows. 1, that the House do direct the Ministries of Environment and Urban and Regional Planning to immediately come up with holistic plans on how to deseat our canals and drains in Rivers State.
The motion is supported by others who decry the loss of lives caused by the floods, which have ravaged part of Elimbulu, Sars Road, NTA Road, and Rumibo, with 2 casualties recorded so far. Also speaking on the pressing issues, the Speaker, who commented on the slow pace of work by the Ministries of Environment and Urban Development, charged the relevant House committees to engage them on the issue and report back in 2 weeks.
We need to work together with the executive so that Rivers people can smile. Rivers people can heave a sigh of relief and know that truly there is government and there is governance. We cannot talk about governance by merely talking. There needs to be something on ground to show the people. And we need action to be taken as quickly as possible. Honorable members, I think that is what you are saying. On that note, honorable members, I will put the question.
Those in favor of this motion, with the prayers therein, should please say ayes. Against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Port Harcourt's drainage system have suffered neglect this year, and this has led to a rise in flood waters. It is expected that this development brings some succor to the city's residents. Meanwhile, the House also considered a motion to commend President Tinubu for the pardon granted the Ogoni 9 and the posthumous honors awarded to the Ogoni 13.
You are watching the program from the State Assemblies, a program that reviews legislative activities in the State House of Assembly across the nation. We now take a break. When we return, Kogi Assembly moves to curb illegal land sales amid insecurity concern.
Do you know your representatives in the National Assembly? Do you know their duties, their promises, and their impact? It's time to bridge the gap between the people and their lawmakers. It's time to know your legislator. Know your legislator, a civic power in your hands, only on NTA Parliament. Join us every week as we bring your senators and representatives closer to you.
You're welcome back. Sale of land by individuals, especially traditional rulers, to unverified persons in Kogi State must be stopped if insecurity in the state is to be addressed. This is the resolution of the Kogi State House of Assembly at plenary when a motion of urgent importance bordering on alleged sale of reserved community lands by some traditional rulers in Kogi Kotongalfi local government area. Jacob Sani reports that Speaker of the House, Aliu Umar Yusuf, thereafter constituted an ad hoc committee to look into the matter.
Mover of the motion, who is the member representing Kogi State constituency, Idris Mekudi, informed the House that the reserved community land meant for public infrastructural development along the Chikara, a border community with Abuja in the Federal Capital Territory, was sold out by some traditional rulers in the communities.
If this unlawful act is not urgently addressed, it may degenerate into widespread land disputes, communal conflict, and breakdown of public order, while also frustrating the long-term educational and developmental objective of the state in the region.
In their various contributions, lawmakers suggest that the indiscriminate sales of lands to unfamiliar people is causing insecurity in the state. The House resolves to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the allegation. Speaker Ali Umar Yusuf thereafter announces an ad hoc committee to investigate the matter.
Honorable Abu Honorable Chairman, other members, Honorable Major Enefla, Honorable Prince Bode Ogumala, Honorable Idris Ali, Honorable Musa Hassan Yakub, and the clerk of this committee will be our able deputy clerk.
The committee is to liaise with the Ohimege Ibukoto Karifi and other relevant stakeholders for proper diligence. The committee has 3 months to complete the assignment and submit its report. Meanwhile, the House also resolves to write a letter to the executive arm of government on its measures to curb all forms of vices in Kogi State. This followed a motion raised by the Chairman House Committee on Security, Major Enefola. The House at plenary also applauds effort of security agencies in the state for being proactive in the discharge of their duties.
In another development, Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a bill to regulate the activities of scavengers and waste dealers in the state to promote public order, environmental safety, and peaceful coexistence. The House also adopts a resolution on inter-agency collaboration on security and called on the Inspector General of Police to address multiple police checkpoints along the Owode-Idiroko Road over alleged harassment intimidation, and extortion of the residents and commuters. Yemi Dalemo completes the report.
The report of the Scavengers and Waste Dealer Law 2025 presented by the Chairman House Committee on Environment Samsudeen Lawal was adopted clause by clause and passed in a unanimous vote.
A bill for a law to regulate the activities of scavengers and waste dealers in Ogun State, third reading.
Mr. Clerk, kindly forward a clean copy of the House Bill number 020-OG-2025, Scavengers and Waste Dealers for 2025. The Governor is Excellency Prince Adelapo Abiodun, CON, OFR, for his assent.
The House adopted a resolution following the motion moved by Adebisi Oyedele, representing Ipokia Idiroku constituency, calling for the intervention of the Inspector General of Police on addressing the issue of 52 checkpoints on a 20-kilometer Owode Idiroku road, which has led to continued extortion, bribery and harassment of residents and commuters who recently resumed from a 5-day strike to express their displeasure.
The House notes with great concern the escalating number of security checkpoints along Idiroku-Owode Road, which has now culminated in untold hardship, traffic gridlock, unnecessary extortion, and deliberate dehumanization of road users within and outside Ipokia local government.
Now, checkpoints are now market area and negotiation area for money. Police checkpoint is no more safe for our people. Even seeing police on our road make you afraid, scared, because they no more protect life and property. They are now after money.
Please do the needful. The issue of petition, the issue of writing letters to the National Assembly, the issue of petitioning the police at the state level. Copy of this resolution should get to Mr. Governor because he's the Chief Security Officer of the state.
In another motion brought by Fatiu Folaewo Salami, the House advised relevant security agencies to embark on coordinated measures to address the influx of undocumented foreign nationals in Ifo constituency to maintain peace and public safety. The lawmakers invited stakeholders involved in the Rested Anchor Borrowers program of the federal government over continued illegal withdrawals of personal savings accounts who were listed as beneficiaries of the program but never benefited from the program.
The accounts were opened from the data collected from these farmers, fast forwarded months and years after. This money that were never assessed by this farmer were being taken away from the account owners.
This House is re-inviting all the stakeholders, Bank, Ministry of Agric, Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Industries, the stakeholders in Anchor Borrowers.
The lawmakers received students of Police Secondary School Shagamu and members of the Spinal Cord Injury Association of Nigeria, Ogun State chapter, who were in the House to seek support and constitutional recognition for spinal cord injury survivors in the state.
And finally, Jigawa State Assembly has read 3 bills for the first time during its plenary session. Speaker Haruna Aliyu Dangatun also received students from 3 schools who paid a courtesy visit to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child. Awwal Muhammad Kazauri reports.
The 3 bills are for the laws to establish Jigawa State Rural Access Road Authority, Jigawa State Road Fund Administration Board, and the Jigawa State Teachers Development Agency. After deliberations, the Speaker of the House, Haruna Aliyu Dangatun, introduced students from 3 visiting schools, Dutse Model School and Dutse Capital School. In a symbolic gesture, the Speaker vacated his seat for the pupils to preside over the House proceedings. Their discussions focus on issues of health, education, and the right of the girl child.
Always, as you have known,
in 2024 budget, we budgeted 32% in education, while in this year's 2025, we budgeted 26% to curtail the problem and menace of education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for believing that every child, especially every girl, deserves a seat in the table of leadership. You are indeed a leader, you are indeed a hero to every girl child in Jigawa State.
The Speaker commended the students for their confidence and urged the chairman of the House Committees on Health, Education and Local Government to consider their request for possible action. Highlight of the visit was the presentation of gifts to Governor Umar Namadi and the Speaker Jigawa State House of Assembly Haruna Aliyu Dangatim for supporting girl child education.
And with that report, we come to the end of this week's episode of the program from the State Assemblies. Remember, you can still watch this episode, news and other programs on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I remain your host, Amina Said.